So appreciate you, Coach, setting all this up. This is glad to have the opportunity to do this and talk a little wing tee stuff today. So I'm just gonna start giving a brief little overview about and Waggle, which is a play action that will run. And before I kind of get into each one, I just want to kind of explain what 20s means. So essentially, it is it's a backfield action for the most part, to where if we're in, I think I have it in the diagram right here, to where that back directly behind the QB is pushing vertical, back adjacent is going horizontal. So whether it's sweep, trap, waggle, that's always what it would look like. Now it gets a little different when you go gun. So gun, you don't have that, that back hitting vertical. It's just a horizontal movement. So I want to start by just showing a couple general clips from right behind the quarterback, just so folks who aren't too familiar can get a good look at what we're talking about once we start drawing it up here. So that's helpful. So sometimes in practice, I'll get as close as I can get. I'll film it, and then it'll be on my phone in a moment, and so I can get stuff a little bit even faster than Huddle does sometimes. But then when I load the Huddle, it gets a little distorted. But I'd say on your phone, this works out really well. So I have 3 clips just like this. It's going to be sweep, trap, and waggle. And the biggest thing about it is how the backfield motion should almost look the same regardless. So I think this first one here is actually going to be our waggle. I'll just let this go on a loop here. But he didn't throw it. He had no need to. But, again, that's the play action version of it. This is going to be trap. So still looks the same. We have given the ball out to the fullback here. And then we're faking a handoff to the wing. So now the wing is actually getting the ball here. And so the good thing about this is they all play off each other, and it helps us out tremendously in offense because defenses have to prepare for all of this. And now if I go back to this first clip here, right, a lot of times it's easy to draw plays against when teams are in a 4-man front. So when we're talking about early install, you usually would go ahead and do it against a 4-man front to make things a little easier. But as we get into the diagrams and also the game film, you'll see that we rarely see a 4-man front. So I actually want to go to the trap one here, right? So with trap, I'm going to draw this up. You can already see this right guard has a big split, looking to go right down. Backside guard, the one that's going to kick this 3-tech, has a shorter split. And this play side is getting up the field, right? So and I'm going to talk about the timing of this, because one of the good things about running trap, especially if you're doing it from under center, is there's a lot of guys who shouldn't be in the picture. So play side and backside end should not be in the picture here if you're hitting it fast enough. So you see that right side of the line is going moving up to almost the safety level. And then buck sweep, same deal. It's a little tricky when guys have bags to do it. So this play side guard actually logged this in. He just went and logged him, and then that wing knows he's supposed to try to find that backside guard. That's where he's chasing after. All right. So now I'm going to get to drawing this up. I felt that this kind of be the best way to do this. So for us, we're a wing tee team. What's the best thing to do? One of the good things about it is that it gives you options, right? So it doesn't change things for the guys up front, but it gives you a lot of options in the backfield, depending on especially what type of defense you might see. So these are the formations that we actually ran buck sweep out of, right? So top left being 100 formation, and top right being a pistol. So we're just scooting that quarterback to about 3.5 yards. The T will take about a step backwards, not too deep. And the good thing about that one is it doesn't change up the steps too much. It's still pretty consistent. Nothing changes for guys to the front, and you still get that vertical attack out of 20 series. Bottom left bull, it was a bull and bear. I was looking towards some formations to get some guys out of the box and really isolate linebackers, especially when these teams start running those 3-4s or in there. So we would run it out of this. I wouldn't really call it trap. We call it kick, and I'll kind of demo that in a moment too. And then split red. So it's a lot of times with gun wing tees, you'll see it'll be like a tight end. So if I went here, it'd be like a tight end, and then we would remove this guy. Just depending on personnel, this gave us the ability to do it this way, to where we just removed the tight end, kept the wing, and went condensed formation. So this was a usual formation we would run a lot to help us out. We're going to guard trap, but first I kind of want to just set up guard trap with an even front, just so things are clear, because it gets tricky when you start running it against the odd fronts. So if we went, I'll just do a base 4-4. Well, it's going to corner this way and give him a deep free. Okay, so this is, if we were to run it this way here, you have the center blocking back, play side guards going right to backer here, play side tackle going at the backer. He's inside releasing, looking to cut him off here. If this guy's going to squeeze, he's going to basically pull check to make sure this guy isn't blitzing here. So he's coming inside, pull checking. And then this way, guard is going to kick or trap that 3-tech. This wing is going to carry out his fake. And so quarterback carry his fake. And so in a perfect world, a team will line up like this. That would make trap, unless that nose is an issue, that would make trap great. But we don't live in a perfect world, so we don't get stuff like that sometimes. So let's say that we're going to run trap, and we get 4 eyes. Okay, so even with 4 eyes here, looking to get over the backer, right, because we're going to trap that 4 eye. And then things are straightforward up this way, inside releasing. Okay. Trap this 4 eye here. Carries fake out. Okay, so that's 124 guard trap. Later when I get the game, I included 124 gut. So it's very pretty similar, except that play side guard is also going to pull to really give that Buck sweep action. All right. So then, as you can see here, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with running trap against these 4 eyes, especially. I mean, it depends. So you gotta play your splits, right? So if you know this left tackle, if that 4 eye is going to stay on you, why not a little bit? Take it out of the way. You don't want it too tight, because that makes it a little bit harder to block for you. Now, when we ran out of bull and bear, this went in the 80s family, the closest thing we got to trap. So when we get to the tape, you'll see that we run this wider, formation here to try to isolate these linebackers. And all we were essentially doing is nothing really changed so much up front, except for we didn't pull this guy. So he would come up the backer for play side tackle. He's down. Center's taking care of the 0 on the nose. Pull check. He's taking care of the nose up to backer. This guy shouldn't be an issue, but again, you're a gun, so if they time that up, they could be a factor. To the 2 receiver side, you just have a simple now screen to see if they'll honor that. He's coming to try to trap this 4 eye, and we have the quarterback give off and carry his fake. So again, what we will also do out of this is, if we wanted to run the play action off of it, we're just down blocking the 4 eye. This up back is to the flats, and then it's just like the split zone bluff almost. So I think a couple times last year we actually were facing some even fronts, and I mean honestly, it's A-gap power. It's down here, down right to backer, pull check, trapping. And we're looking to keep it tight. Okay? Now you can say, okay, what about this end here? Well, he's being influence blocked by the quarterback, because the quarterback shouldn't stand there. He got to carry out his fake. because you easily could just pull it. So we would try to influence block that guy just through the nature of the depth of that handoff. Now, teams run trap out of gun. You definitely can do that. We didn't do that too much. I felt the timing wasn't how us. I think out of gun, it just created a lot of wasted movements. Because this T has got to come horizontal, plant, then go vertical, which we've done before, but I think sometimes the timing is better from under center. So what we did as kind of our complement of buck sweep out of gun was go T speed. So what would happen here is he's down, taking care of the nose, pull check, okay? Down, blocking the corner, play side guard, kick, backside guard, wrap, okay? Now, the defense, that's going to look just like buck sweep, okay? So these guys should flow. They should flow here. To the play side, we're looking to get corner, we're looking to reach this outside guy. Wherever he may be, we want to reach him, okay? And the quarterback is pitching off that end, right? So again, that play side tackle is pull checking. However, it won't matter if he squeezes, runs after him. So we want the quarterback's here, pitches it off, and so we have this on film too. So this was another compliment that we run with along with buck sweep out of gun. Now to get to buck sweep again, we don't want to be realistic here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get in the four eyes with the odd front, and see if the center can handle that nose. So we saw a lot of this year. It could be four eyes, it could be three shades. It might walk another guy up. One of the things about running wing T is you never know what you're going to get, right? You could see a team tape all year long. They're in, they're in a 4-3, a 4-4, something like that. And they'll come out in, just a bare front, or they'll come cover zero. So you never know what you're going to get sometimes here. So he's down. Now, if you can go ahead and cross this guy's face and kick, guard is going to pull and log, pull check. Now we get this vertical presence from that T, right? So a couple of things from the T, you got to carry your fade, right? So if they tap you at the line, great. If they don't, you got to keep going. So I love when I see the T really just getting down, because you might end up getting the safety, or at least holding them the backers here. Horizontal stretch, plant, foot in the ground, get the field. Quarterback's carrying out his fake. Stock block in the perimeter here. So this is our, if you know about the wing T, this isn't anything new. But just seeing it out of that odd front, right? And then I'll go here running out of gun. So when we went gun, we didn't really do too much tight end. And you'll kind of see why once we get to the game tape. Under center was tight end almost all the time. Okay, so running this about timing, because I think timing and when ball carriers are getting to their landmarks at certain times are important. And I realized that running trap out of the gun messed up the timing. It wasn't hitting fast enough. But also running sweep and waggle out of the gun hit faster. And so it gave defenses less time to respond. Especially as you go through the course of a game, the defense starts to pick up. They know what 20s look like. They know what 80s look like. And so when you're changing that pace when things are hitting, that can also put a lot of stress on the defense. So he'll be down here. Down, block in the corner. Okay. Play side guard is going to come kick. Center's taking care of the nose. Pull check. Coming across, take one step up the field. Straight across, plant. Hit it. So again, with no tight end here, this is going to hit a little bit faster. So when we get to the tape, you'll see okay, this guy is getting presence, right? This back is going horizontal, getting to the field and going, right? There's no T hitting up the A gap that holds these backers here. And so one of the things we're doing here is trying to make the defense play the full field. And so receiver will come, block corner. And this guy is to the flats. Okay? And we turned this buck sweep into a condensed RPO. Okay? And it also looked very similar to Waggle here. And what that does, because the quarterback does pull it, he can run and go to the flat. And so he does sometimes too, but we'll see that, even on the tape when I get to, we still give it because we like we're getting play side. However, if we wanted to pull it and throw it backside, we had those opportunities. And this is still a little bit similar, but this is more spread. We went bull, right? So what we would do is we would just tag a motion or shift. This guy would pull check, kick, wrap. And so what that's doing is we're isolating linebackers, right? Because these splits, I know it's like the run game setup here, but these splits were wide. I had receivers landmarks on the numbers, regardless of ball placement, regardless. And so I was intentionally trying to make a lot of green grass to see, okay, how are these guys going to play this? How far are these safeties going to go over, right? And if I can isolate these linebackers, that's best case scenario. And then we still 1 foot, plant, and then go to this side, stock block, now screen to see if they respect that, which we have thrown the now screens. We did that plenty. And so it's making them play the full field, right? You got to run fit, buck sweep this side. You also have to play now screen to the two receiver side. And so that gave us some advantages offensively. So this is the same plays. I'm sure you all know that, right? So issues you face because you never know what you're going to get. And I think that we had one team last year that was pretty unique in how they tried to defend us. From when I was calling from the sideline, I'd see the play and I'd see the defense lineup and say, okay, great. We got a first down here. They're not lined up in a way that they can defend this well until we saw a team do this, right? So we want to run buck sweep here. And they gave us the full play side wash, right? So they had their end. And I know this diagram kind of looks like it's a 4-4, but truthfully, they were in a 3-3-5 stack. They were playing a stack. They were already just showing who's taking what gaps. Because later, other points in the game, if we spread out, they would go to a two stack. But when we came into these formations, they were running their stack personnel out of what's it called? A 4-4. So our guy was going to come down. He would come down here too. He's got to come down here. So this is a tough block for the tackle to get that one shade. All right, and I know if you think about the Delaware wing tee, which is what we resemble, especially when we go into center. That center is going to try to take care of that because this T is going to come take care of backside. That works, but you can't necessarily do that in gun, right? If this center is reaching here, there's no way this backside tackle can pull check. At that point, you're trying to run an option or something to read this guy because blocking him's not going to work. And so our centers are blocking head on the backside. So he's back here. He's coming to kick and he's coming to wrap, pull check, and then we have RPO backside. However, the problems we face here is what if they get penetration, right? What if our sneaks through, holds up the backside guard, right? Holds up backside guard. Due to the timing of it, that play side secondary, they're just run fitting. And so you'll get a yard or two, but you want more yards in buck sweep than 1 or 2 yards. So that would cause a problem. Another thing that you could do here is, which we saw, was a team do this. They would spike through, and this Mike is up in a 2-point stance. It's coming to loop. And so tackle is, if he does get the nose, the Mike's coming right off his butt and squeezing between him and the backside guard and coming through. So then our backs are skilled enough to sneak some yards out of it. But, this is one of the situations where had I just gone under center, it could have created some issues, right? This Mike couldn't be able to jump around so much like this because you still have that vertical push from the T. and then Waggle, right? Waggle. So with our receiver, there's a couple ways we did it. If he has his normal split, he could be, kind of out here. The numbers inside is fine too. And so sometimes we have him just go ahead and clear out, push vertical to take care of that guy. But, if you want him in the play, right? If you want him in the play, it's that deep out. That deep out. So he pushes to at least 10 yards, 12 yards, something like that, and he's spanning out. Okay, so, two things happen here. He's going to, and we've hit this to these guys in route, but other times they'll just settle in. They'll settle in almost like a comeback. And in this corner, he's got a bail, and he fans out, which is good. Okay? So if we get here into the box, we have tackle going down, backside guard pulling, logging, center taking care of the nose, backside guard is that lead blocking out for the quarterback. The T is hitting up in the A gap, fanning out. Right, he's got to sell his fake. Here. So they tackle him, great. They hold him up, that happens. Because if they held him up, they can't cover other things. Okay? But we want to make this look like sweep. Even though the guard's going the other way, so that look like sweep. Wing, coming across, faking, blocking backside. We have a pull check here. Quarterback is faking, getting his depth. Okay, rolling out, right? Play action, RPO, whatever you want to call it. It's a good one to have, especially from under center. Tight end's already down. If it's sweep, he's like, you gotta be hauling to get in that window, right? You don't want to be, working too far up this way. It slows you down. Get into that passing window. This guy is going to be down two, fanning middle of the field. Okay, so his route is going to change. For the sake of this clinic, I put the ball middle of the field. However, if we put the ball in the half, his route's got to change up a little bit. Okay, and so one of the things about this is, the teams who run that if they go cover zero, which we can see a lot, right? This guy's going to try to find work. He's going to seize paths, and he's going to try to pick up most likely the tight end here. The corner needs to respect the X receiver and cover zero. This backside safety will go ahead and take our wing, cover zero, right? And so now the true issue becomes, okay, who's responsible for taking these backs out of the backfield, right? Especially after the run fake. Because let's just say, first thing they'll see is action, they'll buzz, they'll pick up and run. If he comes here, great. Okay, if he tries to knife it and rush, we have that play side protection coming our way. And so this play gives us a lot of answers, right? So, it's one of the things when you call it, it's like the quarterback doesn't have to throw it. Doesn't have to. Because if defensive backs are covering the receivers, they're out of the play. And having this backside guard gives you that advantage of getting additional blocking to the play side, who ends up being almost your lead when you keep it. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite. I won't say favorite, but this was a pretty reliable play action here. So we run this out of the gun with condensed formations, and starting with the play side, the C receiver, which runs the corner. Okay, he's running the corner to green grass. Right? This tackle is going to come down. Play side guard, pulling log, backside guard, pulling, leading for the quarterback. The T. Now, so here's the thing about protection. This is something we had to do out of gun. That T is not going to do this, right? Could it hold the backers? Yes, but that could also cause problems for protection because, interior leakage. So interior leakage could be a problem. Pull check this way, okay? And so what we would do is he would get his vertical step. After he would fake it, he's got to hit the gap, help protect. Quarterback's going to take it, boot out. Okay? This wing, right to the flat. We did it a couple ways in the backside, right? So sometimes we would have it to where this wing would stay home, help pass pro, and then this X would now be replace the tight end as a crosser. Other ways we run it more like how, because one of the things about this is like, trying to get this X to be open, he can, but he has to run through a lot of defenders who are going to see him. A lot of them see him there. So sometimes this was but he kind of played it just week by week, personnel, kind of give us the advantage we needed. Not too much different, but now we kind of get this in the full field. So you'd see like, okay, how are these teams going to respond? How are they going to line up to this formation, right? They've seen condense. Now we have to widen them out. I kind of got this from watching a lot of Tennessee tape and just looking at how defenses have to line up and respond to this kind of stuff. So down, log, taking here. Oh, sorry. Motions guy across. He becomes your crosser. Clear out. Now screen. Quarterback will come. Boot out. Backside post. Another answer. A complement of running waggle out of gun. We've seen it so many times. To where we're going to run 21 waggle, but the T is going to fake. Pan to the flat. Post corner here. Wing is staying home. He's coming over. Backside post. Logging. Pulling. Rex taking it. Putting his foot in the ground. Booting out. That's why we needed this guy to stay home. And then he's basically looking from this high-low. So from this post corner to crosser to then the T and the flat. And so we didn't run that often, but that was just something we wanted just in the event we needed longer than I anticipated. I got a couple clips here. I put them out of order just in the event of time, so I knew I was still going to touch certain things. Shifting over, and we're going to run waggle out of this. So it holds those backers, comes across, and then it's able to find our tight end, right? So I think the thing to look here is watch kind of inside backers, what that back of action does to them. So they're still watching. Quarterback's already booting out, and they're still watching our wing. So it puts a lot of pressure on those secondary guys to come up and cover guys. Sweep here, and so one thing you notice here about sweep is once we're doing it from under center, it still hits fast, but not as fast as gun, as we'll see here in a moment. This is running it out of pistol. So again, another odd front here, and we just wash it down, and then run sweep. Trying to find somebody to pick up. I think same team, different drive here. Just running sweep out of pistol. Getting those guys out there. I want to get to a gun one. This is actually waggle that we ran and end up keeping it. You'll kind of see, we call it an RPO or play action, just getting that extra block out in front of them. Makes issues for that defense. Okay. This is us running waggle out of the condensed gun formation. And it's another complement that was really helpful in terms of our play action because who's responsible for the wing? And so this is a short throw that you just get yards added onto because the outside backers are peeking at run. So backers here trying to fill and run, and it's hitting faster. So you kind of notice that gun is waggle is hitting a little bit faster than the underlook that we saw, and not running trap, running T-speed out of it.
About 5 minutes.
And so we go back to these backers. Yep. What was that?
About 5 minutes.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. I think we're running Waggle here. And so our quarterback took the shot, which, I'm okay with. But he kind of gave up a guy in the flats, right? So no one's taking care of that wing, which the wing is really just replacing the T for the center. Takes a shot, but that gives you a guy that usually gets open from that look because they're worried about run. This is us running out of the pistol. We did this out of red formation, but us running buck because of how we wanted to block it up. This is another even front who's kind of at 3-4-4 eye look, and we're running buck sweep to this one. And so they were kind of delaying who their force guy was going to be. So he's sprinting at the snap of the ball, and our guard finds him, kicks, and then again, this isn't a home run, but these are reliable, consistent yards that we're getting on the perimeter. And so buck sweep again, how much faster it's kind of hitting. Got a gun. Guard gets around quick, and then T's just following. This is one of the things I was talking about with trap not running as fast out of the gun. So we started off an empty, motioned them to the backfield. And so we trapped the guy we wanted. We got a little bit yards on it, but it's got a couple more here. I think the last thing I'll probably say here is just some of the issues that you face. So this is where that backside guard never got around. So he gets jammed up, which means no one comes to take on that safety. So they come and fill quickly. All right. I think that's that's it.
Almost like perfect on time. So, do you have your contact info anywhere on the?
Yeah, I think I put it on
the slide.
Yeah, let me go back to
as we're talking. We got a couple minutes as we're again. That's why I give you some of the buffer time is for questions.
Yeah.
Guys, I've kind of put in the chat if anybody's got questions. Either
here we go. Yeah.
DM me, put in the YouTube chat, whatever. Like I said, I've got in the. I again, I'm in and out of the room right now, catching part of it, obviously, because again, trying to make sure everything's tweeted out, and all that stuff, and making sure the internet's working. Because again, But I know you guys kind of do both and under center. I think you're more prone to under center from our conversations, or at least stuff times up better. Let me phrase that better way. So when you one of my questions for you is when you're installing, at what point, and we may have talked about this on the podcast, but I honestly don't remember because especially the past 2 weeks have been a whirlwind. At what point do you add shotgun to your thing? Obviously, because again, the under center timing, the footwork is very monotonous. At what point in your schedule, because I know you guys get spring ball in spring, summer, fall, do you start adding?
Yeah, I would say spring is I would say that since the guys have been running this for a while, we would start off early in the off season with under center stuff. Like those are the mornings, mornings before school, under center. That way in spring, because spring is going to be dependent on personnel. So that's a big piece for guys. And so, we're under center, but going to gun doesn't take too much time. It's really about the snaps. That's the big thing. Because I would say installing gun is quicker for the skill guys, but it's a little bit more tricky for the center now. Now he has to try to do a shotgun snap, which he hasn't done, in a while, and then go. But I would say in terms for the skills, under center is much more time consuming, especially with the T and the quarterback. Yeah. So we in a perfect world, we go under center first, install under center, and then we get ourselves back in the shotgun coming in the spring.
And then one other one I got messaged me again, coaches, as we're wrapping up here before we get to Coach Ferris. Again, I say is why I've learned to build in more buffer time. Don't be afraid to tweet at them, Instagram, give them a shout out on the phone. I am going to cut these up individually as well. So they're, again, you don't have to sit through dead periods and us figure, like me doing tech checks at the beginning like we did today. But like, again, you got to understand, is the 20 series your first install every year? Because, again, I know some people, like, it's buck, trap, waggle every year, no matter what, blah, blah. Some adjust a little bit more to the personnel, where the belly series, jet series, or rocket series, everybody's got their own little fad within.
It is. I would say 20s is the first for us. We bring in 80s a little later now, because the thing is, when we go shotgun, we're not really running the 80s get very different for us out of shotgun, because the trick about us is we don't want to change things for guys up front.
Okay.
We don't want to change things for guys up front. And because if you're running, belly, how you might see gun T teams do it, we're not pulling a backside guard. We're going to keep everything just how it is under center. And then those steps, because then it looks almost just like play side ISO for the backfield out of shotgun. And so that's kind of where, okay, now we have to work these steps. But again, I think our guys have picked up on shotgun steps. They pick on shotgun steps a little bit faster than the under center steps, because that's the quarterback's almost in the same spot every time for gun. Whether they're going jet, or you're going waggle, buck, everything, he's still basically in the same spot. Whereas for under center, his movements are different for every series.
Okay, perfect, Coach. Well, Coach, again, I think you for coming on. Like I said, you do a great time every time. Like I told you, and the people viewing that we've had a bunch of people jump in and out on here. Again, it's a Sunday. The part of why I do this is people can jump in and out, check on things. I think we've got over 100 people jump on and off at various points already. And I know a bunch of people wait to kind of the end and reach out to people, but don't hesitate to reach out to Coach. He did do a podcast with us. You can check that out as well. Coach always gets back to you fairly quickly. Like I said, anytime me and Coach have talked, it's been smooth and ready to go. But again, like I said, reach out to him. Anything as you go, Coach?
No, people definitely reach out. If I love talking ball. And then anytime someone does variations of their same stuff, I'm always interested in that. Again, I just burnt 45 minutes just talking about waggle and.
But that's a whole different conversation. So.
Yeah, we'll get to 80s. Another day.
Yep. All right, Coach. Appreciate you. Up next, as we transition, coaches, Coach Ferris from Rose Holman is up next.